Generation Cowboys and Sports Talk. My dad, my partner, my co-host, Cowboy Joe 64.
I am your father.
Just to get the Cowboys 2 good games to hopefully understand that they need to go receiver and go high with this next pick.
Yeah, yeah, that's really what this is gonna be about.
All right, you're looking live at Father and Son Cowboys and Sports Talks. I'm the host, DJ I Tell You What, aka Jules, joined by my dad, Cowboy Joe, also known as Cowboy Joe 64 on Twitter. And we're back with another one. We're going to preview the Giants and Cowboys, and we're also going to talk about things for that the Cowboys need to become contenders. So you want to say what's up to the people and kind of jump it up a little bit?
What's up to the people? Appreciate you guys joining. Got my red shirt on tonight. Shout out to Cap outside. And I was actually working on something before we came on this
Yeah, go ahead.
show. But yeah, we just kind of updating. So just to look ahead, I'm thinking Sunday we're gonna do our after game show, and then Saturday, it's gonna be like really busy. So we might have to do some Friday night. We're gonna just kind of figure out like what we're gonna do. And
We got the fights. They got the fight Saturday night, so
so the fight come on. I noticed it was 8 Central Time, our time.
yeah.
So me and your mom, it's our anniversary. We're going out to eat, so probably to get back and so figured it all out. But I said all that to say this: we'll just see when our next show is gonna be. It may be Sunday, we'll see. But
Yeah.
Sunday is like it's gonna be a big day for us to do the after game show.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that. So yeah, so today, um, Deron Bland is in a walking booth. So what have you heard?
That he's gonna miss a couple weeks, and he injured himself against Philly. So with Deron Bland, that's what we're looking at. I mean, the thing with him is he gonna how healthy is he gonna be, and how healthy is Trayvon gonna be? So on my list of things that the Cowboys got to do to be contenders for a championship, the cornerback depth is like number third on the list. Uh, okay, cool.
Stephon Gilmore has been posting stuff like every day.
Well, they say
And
Stephon Gilmore is more of a ability to performance type of thing on why he hasn't really why no team has really picked him up. So I
yeah,
mean, I hate to say it like this, but one of the things that I be kind of hoping for during the beginning of the season is kind of like a setback to a position like cornerback to where it's not a real big setback. It's just enough to make them get aggressive and go do something at that position. Like hopefully this right here, like they say Deron Bland gonna only miss 2 weeks. Well, if that prompts them to go out there and sign Gilmore, then then that's great. If it prompts them to do something else, then that's great because another thing that they was talking about Jadeveon Clowney. Now I don't think they're going to sign Jadeveon Clowney, but it just lets us know that they have intentions on shoring up the run defense and shoring up the edge rusher position. So at least they're out there looking for that type of plug.
so yeah, we can talk about that too because I think they got. I would be okay with Clowney. I've always been a fan of his, especially if the price is right. But I think they just need to just play Houston and Neyland. I think they got guys that can play. And then the other thing is, we didn't talk about this on our last show. Eberflus, you're not going to be able to come into these games rushing 4 guys, even to stop the run. By the way, you're gonna have to run blitz. You're gonna have to until your guys get used to the scheme and get more ready to play. You decided to walk away from Tank and Michael. So it is what it is. But Clowney, he would be a guy that I would be in favor of signing. I've always been a fan.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna sign him. I just seen some on ESPN saying that they're more likely than not going to sign him. And then
He
but
left the building, so that's never a sign that you're gonna sign. No
well they
pun
said
intended.
Well, they said that he was gonna, they said he was gonna leave the building because Shotty was saying that this is not his only team that he's interviewing for. It's his decision. He got like 4 or 5 other teams that he gonna go back to the drawing board and see what he gonna do, but what's the best for him. But I mean, you talk about Neyland, Fowler needs to take a step back. You talk about Neyland.
Fowler, He just looked like he wasn't in football shape.
Doesn't look like he wasn't in football shape, but I mean, when you go back and look at Fowler's career, when has he ever looked like Micah or something like that? He usually kind of just is a he's like a veteran player that is just
Yeah.
granted he did have some great snaps. I mean, some 8 sacks or whatever last year, but I mean. Like that's probably garbage time stats, and it's probably like it's a reason why. Uh,
Well, how did he look when you watched the game? Was he just getting washed, or was he just like,
He just first of all he was in the wrong gaps. He didn't have an outside contain at all. And then when he was chasing down Hurts and the running back, we used to Overshown and Micah closing gaps on people. We're not used to seeing our linemen running with all they might, and quarterbacks like Hurts is just running past them. So we're not used to that. So when we seeing that, we like, oh man, like
so?
like with Izaraku. You see Izaraku, he gonna be all right, I guess, but you see him running full speed after a guy, you be like, oh man, that's your full speed right there. We got a problem.
This wrong gap thing, put a pin on that because I think a lot of it again is just a new defense. A lot of these guys, they not uh, all the way up to speed on this defense. So this hitting the wrong gap thing, you're gonna see that across the board for about 4 weeks probably.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, it would just be smart to have veterans out there. So at least they'll kind of have an idea what gap they're supposed to be in. But no, this wrong gap thing, man. I'm telling you, this defensive hire still not good with it. Um, I'm thinking so you're gonna see that until they get it all ironed out. And again, if you're trying to play teams with 4 defensive linemen, you're gonna get beat.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I mean, again, like I say, when it comes to Eberflus and also when it comes to Shoddy, I'm gonna just hold off on Eberflus because what's happening here is you're gonna rush with 4 down. What we're seeing from Eberflus, and if we're gonna base it based off of the first performance, what we're seeing is that he's gonna rush with 4 down linemen until he figures out what the offensive game plan is and what the offensive scheme is, and then he's gonna try to scheme up pressure like he did in the first game. I mean, in the first game they're rushing 4 down linemen, but after the half they start scheming up pressure, and it effectively shut the Philadelphia offense down completely. I mean, they didn't get any yards on the floor on the
Mhm.
ground running after that. And then Jalen Hurts he wasn't able to really sit in the pocket and pass it at all either. I mean, they shut them down completely in the second half. So if Eberflus is going to be able to run cover three and stop teams from going downfield and also mitigate the run, because that's what he did in the second half of the game. You ran cover three zone and rush 4 down linemen, and somehow, some way, when you would bring your extra defensive back in on pressures or have your extra linebacker break coming off for pressure, somehow that mitigated the pass attack and the run attack. So if you're gonna do that against, like, think about it, like the Giants, are the Giants going to be able to pass the ball on us? Probably not. Are they going to be able to run the ball on us? Probably not. I mean, I
Mhm.
don't think so. So I mean, we'll see. We got to play. To me, some of these games don't even matter to me. I mean,
Mm.
this game against the Giants is cool. The next game that mattered to me, Chicago don't even matter to me because they didn't look good. So the next game that mattered to me, to where I want to see where this team is, measurement stick, is Green Bay. And then after that, we got a tough schedule ahead, but I the edge rush, the problem on this team, if the Cowboys want to be a championship contender, in my opinion, one thing they have to do is shore up stopping the run and the defensive line. That's it. The defensive line, the edge, and stopping the run. If they can do that and then get some cornerback depth, after that, if our cornerbacks can stay healthy, we get cornerback depth and they can stop the run and shore up the defensive line constantly all throughout the season, then they could be a top five in the NFC. They could be top in the NFC. I don't, without Micah, the defense is more balanced. You can't, and I noticed that, like, without Mike, when we had Micah, the defense did have. We always used to say the defense didn't have no identity, But what we starting to realize is when we had Micah, we did have an identity. Our identity was Micah Parsons, and so uh, when you play the Cowboys, when you have Micah Parsons, all of the offensive coordinators they say, "Where is number 11?" That's the identity of the team. And so now that we don't have that, you got to say to yourself, "Okay, well, where is their weakness? Can we pass on them?" When you don't pass on them, you can't say, well, the weakness used to be their run. That's not a weakness anymore. So can we run on them? And you're gonna say, no, we're not having success with that. So we're gonna have to get into the. So it's kind of like it takes more to play us now. Then it's just like, okay, double team Micah, run that way. If the play is over here, if Micah's over here, we going that way. If Micah's over here, put two people over here and we going that way. If Micah's over the middle, y'all double him and we gonna back up and we're gonna try to go over the top. It was simple with Micah, but now it's just like, okay, we don't really know. It's balanced, so it's just like whatever we can go at, we gonna try to go at, but we don't know what that is yet because we haven't seen this kind of scheme. So that's kind of what the positive I'm looking at. And I think it's gonna work. It worked against Philly.
So I wonder who the cornerback to replace Bland is going to be. Is if it's Booth, might have a problem there.
Yep.
Your guy, the Giants receiver, what did he look like on Sunday? What's his name?
Malik Neighbors.
How did he play?
Malik
And
Neighbors is
then,
gonna Malik Neighbor is gonna Malik Neighbor, but their problem is their offensive line is not good, and then Russell Wilson, he's an average at best, but their problem was their offensive line and their consistency. I mean, they were getting Russell Wilson was under pressure the whole game.
and
So
they can't run the ball either.
nah, they can't really run the ball either. So you mean what you're gonna have is you're gonna have a game right now. This is the type of game where you got to be careful because they will beat you. So if you let them get some momentum, the game can be over. Because if they get some momentum, they playing the Cowboys at home at noon. They're gonna be coming in here. They're gonna try to win that game. The way that they
Yeah.
got embarrassed by Washington, they are going to try to win that game. And then Washington let them kind of. It wasn't a game until the end of the game to where Washington really took over. But and the way that I was watching Washington, the kind of passes that they quarterback was making, Dak gonna turn the Giants up. Dak and you're gonna see Pickens score. You're gonna see CD score. You're gonna see all of that. They're gonna be tearing them up downfield, and you're gonna
Yeah.
see, you know, you're gonna see our running
I
backs.
don't
They
even know who their corners are.
Javon Holland is their safety, I believe.
So how did it's Carter, the edge from Penn State? He was just average.
He don't look like
Then
Michael.
and then somebody else that's average too is Thibodeau. He just not. They hyped him up. He
He
ain't.
good. He not good.
No.
Good. And they was trying to trade him and get rid of him, and that should be somebody that we should have been trying to get. But especially knowing that we was gonna do what we were gonna do with Micah, Thibodeau would have been a good fit on our team. He would be Michael Jr. But it's like they look average. My thing about them is this: like, yeah, they good. Thibodeau is good. He's not big enough. The other guy from Penn State, they're not gonna be able to do nothing with Terrence with especially if they end up getting double teamed by like Tyler Smith, or if somehow they run up against Tyler Booker, they're not gonna be able to get past them. Like
Yeah.
Terrence Steele, they gonna win against Terrence Steele a couple times throughout the game. Tyler Guyton, they not gonna be able to get past Tyler Guyton. He big. They might be able to get him on some speed, but as far as just like I got my arm out here and you rushing, you're not gonna be able to do nothing with Tyler Guyton like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with on
It's
Keith.
an NFC East game. You can't get around that. It's
Yeah,
any given Sunday when you playing a NFC East game. But yeah, I personally think we're gonna win this game 34-10.
nothing. Yeah, so it's not a big deal. It's just
It's a typical bounce back game for Dallas.
yeah, just
You
one of
know,
them show off games. I don't want people
Pick,
to take it too
yeah,
serious.
Pickens is gonna play big.
They're gonna
They're
debut.
gonna force him the ball, and now if they smart, they gonna get Leaf out on the field for
Hmm.
Sanborn.
Yep.
Sanborn
No,
was just turning
Leah,
around like
no, Leah foul for Murray.
Well, if you was going in pecking order, to me, it would be Sanborn first. But
Yeah, but I mean, they're gonna have to do the linebacker, switch the linebackers up. Got to get Damone Clark off the
the
field.
plays that I saw, the I'm calling it the third quarter, the third quarter of the Eagles game, Murray looked okay to me. I didn't see the first half, of course, but Sanborn, you just can't do it. And then now Clark, the game I saw, he was just doing what he normally do. He's on the field, he's running fast, but I think your linebacker is gonna have to be Leofau and Murray, and
You got a problem at you got a problem at linebacker now. You know, you had I don't know what happened, but you got to get Shamar James in, and you got to get you got a problem at linebacker. I mean, you had Leofau on a great team would be a great third linebacker on a good
and he
defense.
needs to be on the outside. So if you playing him, and what was the other thing that was weird about the game? We hadn't seen this a lot. They played a lot of sets with three linebackers. That's kind of weird too to see.
Yeah, I
Some,
mean, well, you had it's cover three, what you got four down linemen, so
yeah, so man, but yeah, if you're gonna play that defense, you gotta have three good linebackers. You can't have like one and two
that's what I'm
possible. So
saying.
you
That's
got
what
to
I'm
get
saying.
Leofau on the field, and then Shamar James. I forgot about him, but again, you're talking about wrong gaps. You put him out there, he's gonna make some plays, but he's gonna be also in the wrong gap. That's what you're dealing with.
I would like to see them. I would like to see them get another linebacker. You know what I mean?
Boy, they need a. Did you do the research on Deion Henley? Did he get drafted or what?
Yeah, he did third round.
I told you.
Yeah,
Was that the Mozzie draft?
I'm not sure. Like I said, I know what the big story about Deion Henry is his dad. Dad facing life right now.
I remember the situation, but he's playing.
Oh yeah,
He playing and he balling.
he
He look
like
like
that.
Roquan Smith.
Deion Henley is like that. You
Well,
know, the
you,
Cowboys.
you
They
dropped
just
the boss man fat and you couldn't draft him.
see. I mean, like that's what I said. That they just their scouting department is probably one of the worst in the league. They're all you got to do is simplify to say have the Cowboys drafted anybody like consistently late in the first round or or in the second, third. They don't do those type of things. The only players that are great on the Dallas Cowboys, the players that you got to watch out for are the players that are selected in the top 10 or the players the players that are selected in the top half of a draft when they're like 30 first round players. Like if you can just pick a first round player, close your eyes and pick a player and have a star in the draft, they do good at those type of drafts. When you can get a CD, you can just close your eyes and pick a player. When you can get a Micah, you can just close your eyes and pick. But when you got to like Tyler Smith, I give him credit for Tyler Smith. When you got to pick somebody late, or when you got to pick like how we do, we went through this draft process this last time. We identified hundreds of players that were great. We were looking at 100, the top 100 players, we knew them all pretty much. We knew what they were good at, what they were not. The Dallas Cowboys didn't draft any of those people. They didn't. In the second
Except Tyler
round,
Booker.
Tyler Booker, yeah, because he's a what? The
He
the
was a
the,
yeah.
the best guard in the draft. It's a no-brainer. Who do we draft in the second round?
Uh, Izariku and then Ravel was your third round pick. They,
We
yeah,
did we did 100 drafts. We never drafted Izuriku. We never did. And we did 100 drafts and we never drafted Siobhan Ravel in the third round. We never did that. We
nobody did.
nobody did. And then who we get in the fourth? We didn't have no fourth round picks, right? So in the
In the
fifth,
fifth round, they had some good players there, but they didn't pick them.
we didn't never pick the people that they picked in the. We didn't never pick this linebacker that they traded up to get. We never did. Out of 100 draft, we never did. We never did that. We never did. So, like I said, and this is consistency. They do this every year. They draft people we
That
ain't.
23 draft, boy,
Mozzie right now is not suiting up on this team, and Schoonmaker is holding on by the hair of his chinny chin chin. We are. This team is not good at drafting. They
I
not
watched
good.
that. I watched that play with Schoon that Dak threw on the sideline, and when I watched it live, I thought he dropped it, But watching a replay, it did hit him in the hands. He could have caught it, but it was a tough catch, a tough throw. But yeah, I didn't.
He don't catch those though.
No,
He barely catch perfect balls.
yeah.
So
Again, why you throwing the ball to him right there is a whole nother question. Uh, but um, but yeah,
you know,
it's but yeah,
it's
and then
what it is.
Overshawn was a third round pick. They were talking about taking Overshawn in the second.
That just shows you how bad this team drafts. And then on top of that, Overshawn, we know when I think about Overshawn, I think about, man, we really can't count on Overshawn. We can't.
Well,
So
when I think about Overshawn, I'm looking at last year. We were talking about this on the last show. If Overshawn played 17 games, Dak, Micah, Bland, Tank, everybody that was hurt, Overshawn at the top of the list. The Cowboys would have made it to the NFC Championship. And just think about Overshawn by himself.
well,
The
the
way
thing
he
about
was playing, he was headed for All Pro.
well, the thing about that is the Cowboys have a track record of drafting hurt players. They do it consistently. They do it
Yeah.
all the time. They drafted Jalen Smith. They drafted LVE. They
Ravel.
drafted Damone Clark. They drafted Ravel. These are players that year after year you draft them. They drafted hurt and they get hurt during the season and they cause you games. They cost you games. I mean, this is like a consistent thing. It's like you drafted Jalen Smith. We didn't have a linebacker. We didn't have linebackers when you drafted Jalen Smith. He cost us several games, several yards. You drafted LVE. He cost us several games. He cost us several times. You know, Sean Lee was always hurt. Cost us several games. Cost us several times. You drafted Siobhan Reveal. When Siobhan Reveal go out there right now, Siobhan Reveal is costing us games because Deron Bland just got hurt. So that could be somebody else. You could have had a
Well,
third round pick right there. That could have been somebody else. So, you know, it's costing us. You know,
we talked about this. You just did. So you working for the Cowboys. You just did a presentation that will be in a board meeting. You just went through your presentation on how they've drafted her players, and the people in the boardroom, Steve and Jerry, Will McClay.
it's
That's
like
the
they don't.
problem.
It's like they don't do meetings to where they review the mistakes they've made in the past. It's just like every year they start over from scratch and they do the same things. So, like I said, I don't want to hear nothing about Will McClay. I don't. I don't want to hear nothing about Will McClay because he's not who they. He's not a. He's not he's not who they say he is. He's not. I mean, you can just look at the team. If you look at the Cowboys team, and I thought about this the other day. They say the Cowboys got good players. You know, every player came at the expense of a bad season. Every good player that we had, the majority of them came at the expense of a bad season. Yeah, we got Micah Parsons because we had a bad year the year before. Yeah, we got CeeDee Lamb and Trayvon because we had a bad year the year before. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, Dak is the exception, but we still had a bad year the year before Dak. We did. You know, they had to go draft Tony Romo. They had to go draft Tony Romo got hurt. So they had to go draft Zeke. And we got Zeke because we had a bad year the year before. We picked like number 4 or 5. We picked very high. So all of the players that we get that are
Hey,
stars on
so
our team,
is Kalen Carson still on the team?
I don't know. Another wasted pick. They don't
Yeah.
draft well. They just don't. They can he and ha and say that they are a drafting team and the ESPN can put them at the top of the list for the best drafting team. But if you a Cowboy fan and you a diehard, you know that is just not true. Because if it was, first of all, it goes against the philosophy that the Cowboys have. First of all, they talking about we pay our players. We're a draft and develop team. Well, if you were a draft and develop team and all of these players ended up being good that you drafted, you wouldn't have enough salary cap to pay them all anyway. So that's just not true. You mean to tell me what if you draft a whole bunch of hits and you got to pay them all top money? You're not going to be able to because you're not good at salary cap management. You're not good at that. You couldn't even figure out how to pay Micah and get a defensive tackle. So how you gonna draft studs in first, second, third, fourth, and fifth round that you got to pay? Like Bland. You got to pay Bland. You had to pay Bland. So what if you drafted a Bland in the 3rd round, the 4th round, the 5th round, and the 6th round? You gonna be able to pay all of them? You're not. So it's just like the Cowboys.
Well, I mean, you could pay him if you was the Eagles or the 49ers or the Ravens, yeah, but
Right.
they can't figure it out.
Yep.
Yeah, but so yeah, I mean, we kind of back at ground zero. So now we just like I said, I've been listening to a lot of content creators. Everybody kind of in on the same page. I think right now what's big in the content creating space is people wanting to make a trade for like a Bijan Robinson or who was the other back? It's Bijan. Oh, and Taylor from Indianapolis. I can never
Yeah.
remember his first name.
Josh. Yeah,
Jonathan Taylor
Jonathan Taylor or
from Wisconsin. I'm
you
not as
look.
big on Kamara as other people are.
I mean, he's a game changer. He's a game changer.
He
But I
better than
mean,
anybody we got.
oh yeah, he's definitely that. Yeah, he's a game changer. He's a dog. He a beast. You can look at some players like that. You can look at some players like one of the backs out of the Jets, Brees Hall, or
I'm not big on Brees Hall. I'm not big on your guy from Seattle either.
who Kenneth Walker the third.
Yeah.
I'll take him any day, but yeah, I'll give up like a fifth for him or something like that. But
That's what I was
yeah,
gonna say. Brees Hall and the Seattle guy, I'm talking about 5th or 6th round picks. And I'm not trading a like Jonathan Taylor and Kamara. I'm talking about a 4th round pick. I'm not giving them a first, second, or third for those players.
I'm looking at Rashad White, 10 from Tampa. Uh,
That's a 6th round pick.
yeah, Miami is debacling. They're coming. They going. They in distraught. They distraught. So
But they
shoot,
got a goofy coach.
I'd trade for Tyreek Hill still. I'd have Tyreek Hill, George Pickens, and C.D. Lamb, and the rest of those guys, the Tolbert and all them, they would be cut.
The Chiefs will trade for Tyreek Hill before you beat you on Thanksgiving Day with Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
Just like the Eagles. The Eagles they trade they bringing people in like every day because
The
they about
Eagles will
their
go
life.
get Tyreek Hill.
Well, yeah, so they about that life. See, the Cowboys, what they just did was they did the chart. Some kind of the Charles Haley trade. They did the Charles Haley trade. They did the Amari Cooper trade where they just take like the Amari Cooper. You keep Amari Cooper on that team that we had, we would have been in the NFC Championship game. If you just keep Amari Cooper and Cedric Wilson.
See what they do is I keep saying that what they do is they be one or two players away and then they go backwards.
Yep,
They
you
go
said
backwards.
that. That's exactly what they do
That's
every
exactly what they
time,
do.
just
Every
like
time.
clockwork.
They all they needed to do was get a running back in here. They would have been fine last year.
Or in a defensive tackle.
And they go away from that. They didn't do
And
that.
they did it with the defensive coordinator too. There wasn't any reason for you to change the scheme.
No reason whatsoever. And then if you don't change the scheme, Micah probably still here. Then on top of that, uh, what they do also is they try to act like they know what they're doing when it's a little bit too late. Like, oh yeah, we got to stop the run. We got to stop the run. We got to stop. We've been talking about stopping the run for 5 years, and then y'all gonna come in here in a press conference after y'all done gave away a generational talent and talk about stopping the run. It's just like, are y'all serious? After we didn't have this whole off season and y'all didn't have all this cap room that y'all could have got a defensive tackle, and y'all gonna wait until now and then say something about stopping the run, and then Kenny Clark, he is like not a top 3 or 4, 5 defensive tackle, but on our defense, he played like the best defensive tackle in the league. That's because we
He's a
are
good player. He's a good
so
player, yeah.
bad at that position. But he changed our whole defense just by getting him. So imagine if you could have got DJ Reed or if you could have got him without trading Micah, what this team would be. But they didn't do that. So
Hey,
now,
look at your what you call the draft website.
yeah,
What is it called?
Tankathon.
Where do they have Anthony Hill going?
That's who I wanted. They got them. They got him coming to us.
And what pick?
12.
The NFL, they don't really like to take linebackers high, so it's possible. But I still think you're gonna have to move up to get him.
He's like one of the closest things I've seen to Micah.
But he's a Mike though.
Yeah, but I'm talking about as far as like jumping off the screen,
Yeah.
his talent. He's super fast. He's super aggressive. When it's just like when he make a move, you be like, oh. And then it's a running back, number 4, from uh from a running back from number 4 from Notre Dame. That's my first round pick.
I would take Anthony Hill over him, but
Not over Jeremiah Love. I don't know about that. They rank right there together.
yeah, I would.
If this was my team, I had to take one. I would take the running back. He's like the running back, like he like one of them guys where it's just like he looked like a man amongst kids.
I would take Hill,
Yeah, one or
and
the
then
other. They would be those are my first pick targets, both of them so far right now. But like I said, these linebackers. One reason why I say this about Anthony Hill is because we've seen that these linebackers they be looking like world beaters in college, and then they come to the league and they don't look like that. Like the linebacker that the Eagles got from Georgia last
I
year.
was going to ask you. So was he not active? Was he? What did he play?
That's my point. We don't even know because he didn't jump off the screen or nothing. So we
But
don't
he's
know what.
not as good as Anthony Hill though. He
I
wasn't
mean,
in college.
if you look at their highlight tapes, well, he was ranked high as Anthony Hill, and if you look at their college highlight tapes, you'd be like, man, this guy here is just like he can rush the edge and all of that, but he doesn't look like that in the
But a
NFL.
lot of people had Jahad Campbell going in the end of the first round or the second. Anthony Hill is a top 10 player.
He's number 17. Man, he go hard though. Anthony Hill is the best linebacker in the draft.
Yeah.
He go hard, and his dad played here, so uh, you
I
know,
met his dad. I didn't know he played for the Cowboys.
I thought maybe I'm talking about somebody else.
You talking about Elam. Elam's dad played here.
So Anthony Hill, he went to Duncanville.
He went to Denton.
He went to
And
Denton
Ryan
Ryan. Oh, okay. How you meet his dad?
at Collins game.
Okay. Anthony Hill is the bomb.com. We need him on our team. If we can get him, they need to straight. Right now the running back situation is I don't know what they doing with Blue. I don't even know if he gonna play this week. Because Jerry said that he would, and then Shotty said that he wouldn't, and then
Man, I sent somebody a message the other day. Okay, I said, what would Jimmy do? He would tell the coaches, this player is gonna play. Y'all figure it out. And what they
well,
would do, what this was what Norv Turner would do. Norv Turner would get 3 plays for him to run. That's it. He gonna run these 3 plays. You
I'm about to
can't go
say,
wrong.
I'm about to
And
say
that's
'cause
what he would do.
outside of like I don't know if he like at practice goofing off or if he's like
They trying to insinuate that he's not learning the playbook, but go back to what I said. If Norv Turner was a coach, he would have 3 plays.
I mean
That's it.
why he can't why he can't be active and run a sweep.
Because they just doing a typical thing that they do. So Shotty, you got to be better than that. This is what you were brought here for.
He's trying to
Stop
send a
doing.
message about I'm trying to send a
Nah,
message and make a statement that you got to earn the play. It's like Shotty, we losing games because this guy's not on the field. You mean to tell me that? Think about this. We was concerned about Javante, and he looked cool. He got 3.6 yards a carry. That's not awesome. That's not awesome. Zeke got 3.6 yards a carry last year. So just FYI. And so, but if he's getting that, you mean to tell me that Blue wouldn't have like just like told him apart? He would have.
yeah, they overthinking it. This is
He
what
would.
Jimmy would do. He would be playing, and he would just say,
Blue
sorry.
should. They do things. It's like they don't want to. It's like the owners don't want to admit that the fans are right.
I
We
remember
told
it like it was. I remember it like it was yesterday. So I was reading a paper. This is how old this story goes. They had drafted Eric Williams,
y'all.
and some of the coaches was doing the same thing. Jimmy told them, this player is playing this Sunday. Figure it out. And then he started the rest of the way.
It's just like they don't want to admit that the fans are right, and then they don't want to admit that the fans are right, or they just ignore us because it'd be like, yo, Blue should be playing, and Mozzie should have been cut. Now,
He did the same thing with Larry Brown. Larry Brown was a 12th round pick. He was just like, I don't care. This player is gonna start for us. We don't really care about like he gonna get beat, of course. Larry Brown, I remember he played his first game. He looked nervous. He was out there kind of but hey,
Blue should be playing. Mozzie should be cut, and y'all should have got a defensive tackle. Make that y'all should have made the defensive tackle the first priority in the offseason. Y'all did none of those things, and now y'all trying to do it.
so we got Blue, Booker, your second and third round. Yeah.
Donovan Izaraku.
Donovan Izaraku, at the end of the day, like I said, he just needs to play.
See, my thing is, I'm gonna just be honest. I don't like these Demarcus Lawrence prototype players. I don't like the Marshawn Nealon type of player. It's just like I don't like to me. That's just like Tyrone Crawford. Got these big old guys that's supposed to be edge rushers, but
I
they
think
look like.
Nealon is a better player than Tyrone Crawford.
Is he a better player than Demarcus Lawrence? Because Demarcus Lawrence didn't get us over the hump.
Not right now, but to me, he has all of the.
Traits is what
He's a guy that I would want on my team.
yeah, but not with your second round pick when you desperately need a running back and you desperately need a defensive tackle.
Yeah, I didn't like the pick when they made it, but we got him now. He's better than any. I tell you, when I watched the game the other night, he was the best defensive edge player that we had.
See, this is what I'm saying. When you have, this is my philosophy about need versus best player on the board. It's okay to draft for need when you have, like when the best player on the board is all rated at 90. They're all ranked 90. This guy is the second best at his
They
position.
call it tags touching.
They tags touching. This guy's the best at his position. This guy's the best at his position. This guy's the best at his position. And this guy's the best at his position. And you need this position. So you draft him because that's what you need. You don't say, oh, well, he's a 91, but the defensive tackle is a 90. So let's take the 91, even though this is a position that we got Michael Parsons. Let's draft Donovan Uzaraku when we need.
The problem that they have, this is what happens with them. Okay, so I'm going to give you the Ravens board, the Eagles board, the 49ers board. They have all these players that are 90, the tags are touching. What the Cowboys do, they go down and take somebody that's a 79.
Yeah.
They reach.
You take Schoon. You take Schoon when you got all of these 90s on the board.
Yeah, you went from the 90s to the 70s, but I don't even know if he was in the 70s.
And then on top of that, the whole thing about Schoon is on their board that we seen, we got a screenshot of their board. It was somebody snuck and took a screenshot of the board that Jerry had in his hand, and it was public. It was put out there. So we can't say that this is made up. This is not photoshopped. They had Schoonmaker as a 4th round pick. He shouldn't have been that. But what gives them the audacity and what gives them the right to just say, let's just pick this guy in the 2nd round, and when we got all these other guys that we can pick?
The reason they do that is because the way their front office is set up, it's not your typical front office. You got Steven, you got Jerry, you got Will, and then they put a lot of emphasis on the coach. The Schoon pick was a shout out to Mike McCarthy because Mike McCarthy wanted to take another player. So they just basically said, okay, in the 2nd round, coach, you just take a player. And then what McCarthy did, he was just like, just give me a tight end. And I'm out. See you.
So what they did was we just want them to draft for BPA or for need, because they don't do either one of those things. When they took Schoon, that wasn't the best player available, and that wasn't for need either.
What most teams do is what you described. They have the board, they have the players, and then they have a need. They kind of do a little bit of both. That's what teams do. But the Cowboys, they have like a 3rd category where they just do goofy stuff.
I'm going to just give a whole little synopsis right now, this whole thing right now. This season right here, we are good enough to get into the playoffs, bar no mistakes and no goofy stuff.
I think we're better than the Giants and the Giants and the Commanders right now.
Right now, and we got a chance to be. We got a chance to get into the playoffs, and what we do in the playoffs is yet to be seen. We got to see when we get there, but we good enough for that. Now, I'm gonna say another thing. This is father and son Cowboys and sports talks, and we used to be generation to generation. So as a fourth generation Cowboy fan, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, we are gonna have a hard time for the next 5 or 6 years if they mess these picks up for Michael. If they mess these picks up, we're gonna have a hard time, and it's not gonna be good. We're gonna be a bottom of the half league team. If they get the picks right, we will do better than we do at the end of this year. If that's a playoff team, then that's a playoff team, and if they do right, we'll be better. But if they do what they have typically done and they mess up these picks, because these picks are not gonna be top picks. I don't think our pick gonna be a top pick. So if they mess these picks up, we're gonna be in a world of trouble for the next
What,
4
what
5
they're
years.
gonna have to do, we can go ahead and wind down so I can jump off. But yeah, what they're gonna have to do, they're gonna have to move up in both of these drafts. They're not gonna be able to stay where they are and use these picks. So they're gonna have to take their pick and another pick and just go up and get like good players, like we talking about, like Anthony Hill, like your running back. They're gonna have to just go up and get those kind of players. So
They're gonna have to be aggressive.
yeah, and then in the late rounds, they're gonna have to just pick. They got to change their formula. I don't know what they're looking at or what they're doing, but in every round of the draft, it's gonna be players that are on the board that's gonna make your team better. You just gotta pick them, and they just don't do a good job of it. They, like when they have a player that falls to them, like you said, and then they're able to do good. But when they gotta just roll up their sleeves and strategize, they just don't do good. But when you move up, you can typically move up, and you're gonna be okay. Just taking a player, and that's what they're gonna need to do. They can't stay. I got a feeling that our two number one picks, it's gonna be 23 and 27.
Yep.
If that's the case, then you need to just move up. It's
Yep.
just simple as that. Because taking the 23rd and 27th player in the draft, they're gonna screw it up.
Yep. And then on top of that, um, I also think that I lost my train of thought. But yeah, also what they don't do is they also don't do good at evaluating talent that's already known. Like for instance, like they don't trade for Bucky Irving when they should. They don't trade for a running back when they should. Like right now, they should be looking at these teams that's going to start out on 4 and get busy. They don't do that.
Well, yeah, the Eagles are already doing it.
Well, Kevin just said they have a bad habit of reaching for needs in the draft. I don't think
Yeah.
so. They have a bad draft of reaching because they don't even be drafting for needs when they reach. They just be
Well,
drafting people.
what Kevin is saying, you get
Like when
they
draft
they do both.
like they
So,
drafted
so
Schoon. They drafted Schoon. They reached for him. He wasn't even a need.
yeah,
He
they
wasn't
do
even a
both.
need.
You guys, both of you guys are right. They do both. They reach for players that they shouldn't be reaching for, and they reach for players that they think they need. That's what Taco was. They thought in their mind they needed an edge. They didn't have the right one. They could have got TJ Watt, and then the year that they drafted CD, they was gonna reach for Kayvon Chasen, whatever his name was. They were gonna draft him.
Out of LSU, he became a straight up bust.
I don't even think he's in the league anymore. So they were finna do Taco Part 2 in that draft, but CD fell to him.
And I keep telling people they wasn't even trying to draft Micah. They was trying to draft the cornerback. And then on top of that, they wasn't even when they drafted Micah, he wasn't an edge. So you can't give them credit for that either. He was a linebacker, and then they messed up the contract with the edge player that they had, which caused him to leave. And then Micah got shifted to that position. So it's just like they did everything that they could to mess the Micah thing up because everything everything that they messed up went right for them in that situation, and they still messed it up.
Yeah, they still messed it up. So we can go ahead and wind down.
Yeah, so we got a JB scheduled team this week. Cowboys gonna come out and look like they're gonna come out and look like they went like they the best team in the league. So,
Yeah.
and like I said, and then the Giants ain't slouches either. So we might get out there and the Giants might really be putting up something in the first quarter or second quarter. We don't know. But even if they do win and blow this team out, we don't need to. Like I said, the next important game to me, Chicago gonna be all right because it's gonna be really. We're gonna really see what Shotty about when it comes to Chicago and Eberflus too, because
So that game the other night, I know we finna. So I just bailed on the game. The Vikings Bears game, it was so bad. I just like bailed out. So it ended up being like I guess a okay game.
it was all
But
right.
Chicago lost, and
Chicago start doing Chicago things, and
we
JJ
when we
McCarthy.
play them, it's gonna be a playoff game for them.
Yeah, they gonna try to hit us with everything that they got. They gonna try to embarrass Eberflus, and Shardy is gonna be going up against me and Johnson mano y mano, and so we gonna see because we are a better team than them, and so at every position. So we gonna see we supposed to handle them, but then the
Yeah,
next week is Green Bay, and we got the whole shenanigans and all of the media, and it's just gonna be everybody gonna be just losing their mind about Micah coming back. And then that's gonna also be a good game because it's gonna be a test for us because they gonna desperately be trying to win that game, and we gonna be desperately trying to win that game. So that's gonna be like a big test,
the
and
playoff game.
it's a playoff game, and so that's gonna be when we decide who the last time the Cowboys did this when they played against Tampa, coming off a loss, and they lost to Tampa, but Dak played extra well. They went off and won 6 games after that. So this could easily be that. So we just have to sit back and see. And so this team is a good team. I don't, from what I seen, what I really like about what I seen last week is the intangibles that they always have that they did not have. Like the always getting all the penalties. They didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? They're not looking ready to play. They looked like they were ready to play. You know what I'm saying?
They're not gonna have a lot of penalties.
They look ready to play to me. You know what I'm saying? The defense and the offense made adjustments after half. They don't normally do that. They did that. So if they can keep doing what I call the right behaviors, they're gonna be a playoff team. What we do in the playoffs is what we do in the playoffs. We gotta wait and see.
All right, appreciate you guys joining. We will let you guys know we're gonna do the next one,
Yeah, we'll
and
see
we'll
y'all on the
see you on
next
the
one.
next one.
So shout out to K Rock, shout out to Uncle Squeak. Y'all
Hey,
appreciate
right,
y'all for coming through.
Uncle Squeak.
And we'll see y'all on the next one. And